Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. It's your boy D Black. All right, Elimination Chamber. Wasn't too bad, wasn't good, wasn't great, but I mean, it is it is what we expect right now today of the product that we're getting. But anyway, all right, let's go. Let's do this. All right, we started out with the women's Elimination Chamber. All right, you get Alexa Bliss coming out, then you have Oscar coming out, then you have Raquel Rodriguez come out, Rhea Ripley come out, and they all enter into the pods. Then you have Kiana James and Tiffany Stratton who start the match out. You know, and I mean the match was going. It was pretty good. I have to say that Kiana James, she's going to be a star and stuff. I mean, she's very strong. She looks good and everything. She gave Tiffany a little, a pretty good match while they were in there. And then Oscar comes out. Oscar, gets to headline and she starts destroying both Kiana and Tiffany. And then Alexa Bliss comes out and she does the same thing. She starts dropping everybody and stuff. And then Rhea comes in and she just really destroys everybody. She starts putting everybody down and stuff, And at one point, Oscar spits, the mist into Alexa Bliss's face. Kiana pins her. Kiana pins Alexa Bliss, and Alexa Bliss is eliminated. Then Raquel comes in and she destroys everybody. Actually Raquel really looked pretty good, in this chamber match. And then Raquel takes Kiana James through one of the pods and stuff. And then Raquel pins both. She Tahana bombs Oscar on top of Kiana James, and she pins both of them. Stuff. So, I mean that was okay. And then Tiffany and Raquel um, hits. I'm sorry. Tiffany hits Raquel with the prettiest moonsault, and then pins her, and that just leaves Rhea Ripley and Tiffany Stratton in the ring, and they wrestle. I mean, they do their thing and stuff like that for a minute and everything. Then Rhea ends up riptiding Tiffany Stratton for the win. And then we go on with Becky Lynch and AJ Lee. I mean, the match was okay. I mean, it was for what it was. I mean, it was kind of a little weak because AJ hasn't been in the ring for a while. So Becky Lynch, she has to stay at the pace that AJ can be and stuff. Because we all know that Becky Lynch can work inside the ring and stuff. So there was one spot in there that they had to do, and the referee gets pushed into the corner because Becky had taken the corner head pad off and everything, and the referee, for some ungodly reason, jumps out of the ring, gets the turnbuckle pad, and starts putting it back on the turnbuckle, and then she gets nailed. She falls down, but gets right back up, and then after that, then she ends up getting kicked by Becky by Becky Lynch. I mean, it was an inadvertent kick to the face, but she did get kicked to the face. And then Becky goes out, she gets a chair, she throws the chair into the ring, and then she goes and tries to do a DDT on AJ Lee and misses the whole complete chair. you know, and then after the DDT, she goes to pin AJ Lee, and AJ Lee kicks out as the pin and everything. Then Becky manhandle slams AJ Lee, and she kicks out of that. And then as the referee gets kicked, then oh man, this match was just crazy. It was just on and on. But anyway, it was the Black Widow that AJ Lee was able to put on. Actually, she put it on her twice in the match and everything. But to win the match, she puts the Black Widow on Becky Lynch, and she wins the match and becomes the new women's IC champion and stuff. So I had to give out kudos. We all knew that was going to happen and stuff. So we look forward to, seeing AJ Lee. I'm sure she's going to make it to WrestleMania. She may lose the belt back to Becky Lynch or something like that. I mean, AJ had to have her moment. So I don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know as far as that's concerned. And then we get a little backstage thing with our truth, with Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce, and they're talking about that box, the crate, and everything. And our truth says, "You like boxes and stuff like that?" He said, "Well, I have a box, and it was a box of pizza, from Papa John's and stuff." So that's what that was. And then we get the match with Finn Balor and CM Punk. I mean, I don't know what this music was that they were playing. I think it was like one of the musics that for something with Michael Jordan or whatever the case may be. But it kind of was. mm I think it took a little bit away of CM Punk coming out because it was a minute that they played it, and he's coming out of his room, and then all of a sudden there's this pause, and then Punk's music kicks in. The people get into it and stuff. But mind you, there was like 19,000 people there to see the show, as they say, and stuff. But anyway, um, the match was pretty much back and forth. You know, um, Finn Balor hits a coup de grace on CM Punk, and CM Punk kicks out of the coup de grace and stuff, and so AJ hits Finn Balor with the GTS, and he puts him out, and he wins. And after the match is over with, you know, um, Finn Balor gets up. He looks at CM Punk. They stare at each other for a minute. And then Finn Balor extends his hand. They shake hands and they leave. Finn Balor leaves the ring. And then AJ Lee, she comes down to celebrate with her husband, CM Punk and stuff, and they raise their belts together and, they do the little celebration and stuff like that. So, kudos to them. CM Punk, we already knew that was going to happen and stuff because can't wait to see what happens, with him and Roman Reigns. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, if you want the shock moment, I think there could have been a little bit more to this after, CM Punk won. I mean, because Roman Reigns, he was not there. So, I mean, they could have used Roman, to get a little shock factor, just to build up something towards WrestleMania. But anyway, we move on. And now we have the men's Elimination Chamber match. And it started, Trick Williams comes out, LA Knight comes out, Logan Paul comes out, Randy Orton comes out. They all go into their pods and stuff. And then Javon Evans, comes out, and then Cody Rhodes. So it was Javon Evans and Cody Rhodes, you know. And I think Javon, held his ground with Cody and stuff. Cody, being the most experienced out there. And it was pretty decent. Then Trick Williams, he comes out and everything, and he backhands the hell out of Javon Evans. I mean, yeah. And then he double chokes, Cody Rhodes and Javon. And then Logan Paul, he comes in, and he gets he gets mugged. All of them, they just jumped him, and and then he gets thrown through the pod and stuff. That's crazy. And then LA Knight comes in, and then he mugs Logan Paul also, and then LA Knight and Jerron Evans throw Logan Paul, because they got on top of one of the pods, and Logan Paul was on top of the pod. LA Knight and Jerron Evans, they got on top of the pod, and then they throw him off. They threw Logan Paul off onto um, Cody Rhodes. And at this time, Logan Paul, Cody Rhodes, and Trick Williams. So that was a pretty good, interesting spot. And then Randy Orton, he comes in, you know, and he just destroys them all. He just puts everybody down and stuff. And then we get back to the match, and then Javon Evans, he frog splashes Trick Williams, and then he gets dumped um, by Logan Paul and stuff, and man, and then he pins Logan Paul pins Devon Evans, and then LA Knight, he was gonna do something off the rope, and he trips off the rope. Man, that was bad. He could have hurt himself, because the spot was pretty bad and stuff. And then Logan Paul hits LA Knight with the low blow, and then he pins him. So Logan Paul is putting out Devon Evans and LA Knight. Then Logan Paul, then Cody Rhodes, he hits the crossroads on Trick Williams. And then LA Knight, I mean not LA Knight, but Logan Paul comes and he throws Cody Rhodes out, and then he steals that pin from Cody, and he pins Trick Williams. So Logan Paul has pinned Trick Williams, LA Knight, and Javon Evans and stuff. You know what I mean? Logan Paul, he did his thing and stuff. So I had to give that to him. And then as the match is going, you know, a mask guy comes out, and then they unmask the guy. I mean, the referees and the officials come out, and they, he's unmasked and everything, but not sure who that guy is. And then as the match, is going, as they're getting rid of that other mask guy, the gate is still open. Then another mask guy appears, and then this guy he plants Logan Paul's head on the mat, so he gives him this curve stop and everything, and then he's pinned. Logan Paul is pinned. Cody pins him and stuff, and then the mask guy reveals himself, and it's Seth freaking Rollins. Wow! And you should see the look on Paul Heyman's face, and he's like, "Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!" and stuff. So that was crazy. And then all of a sudden, Drew McIntyre shows up, and he hits Cody in the back of the head with the with the championship belt. And so Cody goes down. Then Cody gets up. Him and Drew are fighting and stuff. And then he gets RKO'd by Randy Orton. And then he bounces up into Cody's arms. Cody hits him with the crossroads. And as Cody gets up from hitting Drew with the crossroad, Randy Orton hits Cody with an RKO, and he pins Cody, and he wins the men's um, elimination elimination chamber match. So so Randy Orton wins and stuff. I mean, Drew McIntyre, I'm here to tell you, he's caused a lot of rift and everything, and I just was hoping that man, he stole it from Cody. But anyway, then as the show goes off, you got Nick Aldis, coming out, and he's saying that since Drew McIntyre did interfere, that Cody will get his chance, at the championship, and that he will be facing Drew McIntyre on SmackDown next week for the championship. So I think that was pretty good and stuff. I'm glad he came out and he did that and stuff. So the show itself, it was okay. Um, 1 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a like. I'm gonna give it like a. I'm gonna give it a 6. I'm gonna give it a 6 because it wasn't really that bad. You know, I appreciated the show. It was decent. I knew what was gonna happen and stuff, and that's the only thing. It's just so predictable. Just so predictable. Everything that the WWE is just so predictable. So with that, please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts, and I'll say this. Thank you for watching. God bless. Deuces, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.